You know what, Nick, the one thing about Coach Riley, and I've always said this about him, yeah, he was a taskmaster. He ran the shit out of us. He did all that. But he was, when the playoffs started, and especially when we got to the finals and we saw the Boston Celtics, his attention to detail was better than any. Well, I've only played for him, well, a couple of coaches, but Pat Riley was my main coach for any coach I've ever been around. I mean, we knew what play when they called four down, three out, 33C, we whatever it was to get Larry open, we knew zipper, whatever, we knew where the ball was going to go. And that's what made Larry larger than life because he knew that we knew that he was going to get the basketball. And when he came off a down pick and they picking me and Kareem or Worthy, we stepped out on him. Larry always had, let me, this is one thing I said, you know, Larry never really talked to me. But one particular in the 85, no, the 84 series, we're playing in the forum. And this particular play down, it was a timeout, and they're coming down, and Larry gets me at the top of the key, and he's walking me underneath his basket. He goes, Coop, I'm ready to wear your ass out. What? Okay, I get down to my best defensive stance. He goes down the lane. He comes off the left side, and Robert Parrish sets a pick.
Great picker.
Great picker. Come off, and we knew the play. We knew what was coming up. And Kareem was ready. And as Larry comes off the pick, shoulder to shoulder with Parrish, and I'm trailing behind him, he catches the basketball right about the elbow. And he gets the ball and he goes up, and Kareem stops him from turning the corner. Larry catches the ball, he goes up in the air, and here I come. And I'm like, I'm getting ready to smash this shit, man. So I jump up and I got my hand, and I don't know how Larry got this ball between Kareem and I. Because Kareem had his hands up. I'm coming with my right hand and he hit a great pass. Like I said, I don't know how he got it to him. Hits Robert Parrish or rolls to the basket and Robert dunks it. And Larry looks over his shoulder at me and he laughs. He said, I told you, motherfucker. And you know what? That right there, that shows you the essence and who this guy was. He was about team. He was about winning. He was about making plays. And you know what? If anybody in today's game, Carmelo Anthony, who's no longer in this game here, maybe Kevin Durant, maybe Steph Curry comes off that, they force that shot up there. They try to get the shot off, but that's the difference between Larry. That play right there softens you up for the next time. Now Kareem's not going to jump out. Now Larry's wide open to shoot the ball. So people don't know and understand the dynamics of basketball. And when great players, you know, the game comes so simple to us, and the layman's person that's sitting down, the armchair guy sitting there, and he goes, wow, what a great pass. They don't know the process of what that play has developed now. That play now has taken Kareem out of the action, so Larry can really come off and hit that shot because I'm trailing behind him. The game changed in the 80s because it was so physical. They had to stop that. Remember, I was watching a tape the other day with Dr. J and Larry Bird. Them trying to come out of the East, and Doc pounded Bird. Doc is the most mild-mannered person, man. and to see him get robbed, but you know what? We were fighting for championship. They knew they had to beat the Celtics to come out the East, and the two times they did, they lost one time, and then they came back the next year and beat us. So it was a dogfight, man. And you know what, Dominique, you know, guys that probably never got a good opportunity to play for a championship, it's because you had to go through so much. But the Atlanta Hawks was
Charles Barkley
reckoned with coming in.
So you played up on Bird there. It was like the lesser of two evils. If you played up tight on him behind the three, he's going to pump fake you, not you necessarily, but an average defender that in that era, pump fake you, drive, either get a mid-range jumper or a great pass. I mean, this man was one of the greatest passing forwards ever. So, like, I would think it's a lesser of two evils. Like the Celtics back then, and no one knows this better than you, but they used to always establish post-game to open up their perimeter game. Right? Like they'd start hammering into McHale and Parrish and Max, so that way they could be open from the outside. Yes, there was less spacing, but that does not mean it was less physical. Like I think that's what it all comes down to. In order to get to the point where you're open for a three, you're usually going through a gamut of physicality back then. I mean, taking all the fighting, including the Dr. J, everything. Pretend that the NBA was as stringent today with fighting, not physicality, with fighting as it is now, right? Back then. So take all the fighting away. Was the game still more physical without, you know, the occasional brawl?
Oh, for sure. Championships are won in the paint
Mm-hmm.
because that's a high percentage shot down there. So you couldn't let Robert Parrish, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale get in the low post. We were, Magic Johnson was not a good he wasn't a good one-on-one defensive player, but he was a great double teamer.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have him double team. Magic was a
so
big
tall.
double, 6'9", long, and whoever. So those guys had to pass it out. So you have to look at our three-point shooting as opposed to now. Now it's a little bit more of a weapon. Back then, it was a weapon to open up the paint so they can go back down inside. So it wasn't necessarily a weapon because we wanted to beat you inside.